Hi, let's do chapter 17 of After the Shot Drops for thinking reading. Let's review a little bit for chapter 16. Nasir was checking on Bunny's game, just kind of refreshing his phone to see who won. And Saint Sebastian did win. Then Wallace was texting him about the win. And Wallace asked for Bunny's Facebook password so he could hack it. And thank goodness, I think Nasir did not give that to us. All right, chapter 17. Bunny. After practicing on Tuesday, I end up on Nasir's stoop. Don't know why. Maybe because I'm sick of things being weird between us. Or maybe because the world feels different since the sun's still up. Warmer. It's the time of year when the spring feels like it's at the tip of your tongue. Interesting that Bunny went to Nasir's house and he's on his stoop. I can think of many times when I've gone to people's houses that I have every intention of going in and talking to them. So I predict that Bunny and Nasir are going to talk. I'm about to lose courage and duck back into my own house across the street when I hear someone call my name. I turn around to find Mr. Blake walking up, smiling. He's got his work bag slung over his shoulder and the knot of his tie loosened. Long day with the kindergartners, I guess. Bunny Thompson, how's it going, son? He asks and shakes my hand. Good, Mr. Blake. He backs up a step, holds me at arm's length, and looks me up and down like my own dad did when I dropped by the store a few days ago. You shrank a foot or two these last few months. You look tiny. Maybe, I say, returning his smile. It catches me off guard how good it feels to see him again, to be joking around as if nothing happened. But if I think about it, it shouldn't surprise me. Even though he was in the military, Nasir's dad has always been overwhelmingly nice. In that way, people who work with small children seem to be. Good work getting that W the other night, he says. You got the championship tomorrow, right? I nod. For the private schools. Immaculate Heart, right? Yeah, I say, kind of surprised he's been following the tournament. Should be a pretty tough game. All right. Maybe I'll swing by. It's been a while since I've seen you play. This seems so nice for Mr. Blake, what he's saying to Bunny. And I bet Bunny feels just really good to be welcomed by Nasir's dad, because it seems like they've spent a lot of time together. How are your students? I ask, trying to change the subject. He laughs. Little monsters, but I love every one of them. He falls quiet for a couple beats, then asks, You looking for Nasir? I hesitate, nod, shift my weight to my other foot. He's out right now. He looks down the street as if he expects to see him walking up at any moment, with Wallace. But he should be back soon. Starting down the stoop, I say, All right, I'll come back. You eat yet? He interrupts me. Not yet, I say, stopping on the last step. Stay for dinner then, he says, as he unlocks the door. It's my night to cook, and I'm making chicken adobo. Is that still your favorite? I want to say yes, and yes. Mr. Blake cooks Filipino food almost as well as Nasir's mom. But I'm not sure Nasir even wants to see me in the first place. So I say, wish I could, but Jess is expecting me. And you know how she is about having all of us siblings sit down and eat together, even if our parents are out working. But I can hang out until Nasir's home. I think Nasir really does want to stay for dinner, but he feels weird about it. I respect that. Don't want to mess with the family. He pushes open the door and holds it open for me. I step inside. Nasir's place doesn't look like anything's changed. Same art on the walls, same couches and flat screen TV in the living room. Same bookshelves crammed with paperbacks from Word Up. Same table off the kitchen, and all of it perfectly neat and orderly like always, like they clean every day. My house isn't exactly dirty, but it feels more lived in. We've always got toys or mail or books lying around all over the place, except for the first Saturday of the month, when our parents make us clean from top to bottom. But that clean never lasts more than a couple days. I know when I was growing up, we didn't clean all that much. It definitely doesn't sound like it was like Nasir's. Maybe more like what Bunny's is like. That never stayed clean very long. Mind helping me start dinner? Mr. Blake asks, hanging his coat. Sure, I say, because what else am I going to say? We walk over to the kitchen as he digs through the freezer. I stand at the counter that separates the kitchen from the dining room. After popping a couple frozen chicken breasts into the microwave to defrost, he grabs some garlic and tosses it to me. I catch it, and he smiles. 2 cloves, minced. I pull one of the cutting boards out from the cabinet where they keep them and slide a knife from their little knife holder thing. I set to mincing the garlic like Mr. Blake taught me when I was younger, as he gets the rice pot. Well, it sounds like that Bunny has helped Mr. Blake cook before, so this must feel like just, again, really nice for him to be able to do something that he normally has done before. So how's your mom doing? Mr. Blake asks over the sound of the grains of rice clinking into the metal. She's all right, I say. Still on the graveyard shift, he asks. Unfortunately. Mr. Blake runs the water and rinses the raw rice. Must be rough. I shrug. Pays better, and she gets to be home with my dad all day. He chuckles. Bet they like that. I don't say anything. He clears his throat. Anyway, how are the twins? I finish with the garlic and wipe the blade. Good. Justine's still quiet and Ashley's still loud. And Jessica? Doing all right with those college classes? Yeah, always stressed about some test or paper, though. That's how it's supposed to be, he says. It's all worth it in the end. We settle into a comfortable silence as Mr. Blake starts pulling out some spices. And this feels like it's supposed to, like it used to. The hum of the microwave, the rice quietly simmering in the stovetop. Only thing missing is Nasir. Again, sounds like Nasir is just so comfortable and has been missing this, but we're just missing Nasir here. Teenage boys aren't so good at talking about how they feel, Mr. Blake says, making it pretty clear we're thinking about the same thing. I know, I was one of them a long time ago. Boys tend to keep everything inside and let it out in different ways. I'm really glad that Mr. Blake is bringing that up and talking about what they're both actually thinking. And I think this happens a lot to people, that they just don't talk and because they're scared to bring things up. I don't say anything. That's why I try to get them talking and processing when they're young. In my class, we start in an everyday sitting in a circle on the rug. The sharing circle, we call it. We go around and the kids share how they're feeling. That's nice, I say. You want to try it right now? Try what? Sharing how you're feeling, Mr. Blake asks. But before I can answer, the front door bursts open. Nasir tumbles inside the house, letting in a rush of cold air. His eyes land on me, and he stops short. Bunny? I can't tell if it's a question, a statement, or a greeting. And I can't read if he's happy to see me or not. Just like I don't know how I would have answered Mr. Blake's question. Hey, Naz. His eyes dart to his dad. You invite him for dinner? He asks, like I'm not even there. The microwave stops whirling and beeps a few times. Nah, I answer for myself and start washing my hands. Just wanted to say what's up. Oh, he says. I hear the door shut. His bag thud onto the floor, and his coat rustle as he slips it off. Mr. Blake pulls the chicken from the microwave. The edges are cooked through, but the rest is still pink. Probably still frozen on the inside. Thanks for your help, Bunny, but I got it from here. Why don't you all go on and hang out in the living room? You know, it really seems like Mr. Blake is setting them both up to go and have a conversation so they can make up. Excuse me. Let's see if it's going to happen. Nasir kicks off his shoes and picks up his bag from where he dropped it a second ago. Oops, I'm not even on the right page. There you go. He runs a hand over the top of his head and looks away. Sorry, Bunny, but I've got a history paper to write. You understand, right? Yeah, I say, it's cool. Another time. For sure. And then Nasir dips. I listen to the sound of his feet stomping up the stairs until it fades away. Mr. Blake sighs. He'll come around. I shrug. Sure you don't want to stay to eat? You're a teenager. You probably still have room for Jess's meal, too. Yeah, I say I'm sure. Thanks, though. Good luck tomorrow, as if you'll need it. Thanks, I say. Always do. Ah, that's such a disappointment that they still are not talking. I think Nasir totally blew it. He had a perfect chance. Bunny came over. Mr. Blake set it all up, and then Nasir was like, nope, I gotta do a paper. So, super disappointed. See you soon.